Golic Wingo, Jason Fitz, having the opportunity. You guys know that I like to try and make all of my worlds collide, and we're going to do that now, get a little country music feel into everything as we're joined by Sony Arista recording artist Matt Stell. Matt, thanks for the time, man. You played college basketball, and rumor has it you're 6'7", which would make you the tallest person I've ever seen on the road. We're accurate to that, right? 6'7"?
Yeah, that's right. It's difficult to fly sometimes on airplanes, but it was handy playing ball, that's for sure.
Are you the one person in country music taller than Trace Atkins? Like, I think that puts you at the top of the heap.
Yeah, I think it's pretty close. I might be a little taller, but yeah, it's pretty close.
That's not very many people that can actually say that. Now, you mentioned it was helpful for ball. You played college basketball, so how do you go from playing college basketball to being a musician?
Well, college basketball is a winter sport, right? So you're on campus the entire winter break, and nobody's really there. So I was playing a lot of PlayStation with my teammates, and just kind of asked my mom to bring up this guitar she had gotten me for Christmas one year that I never touched, and brought it up there. So I really learned how to play music in my downtime during seasons when I was like a sophomore playing ball. So I don't know if I'd be playing if I wasn't sitting idly by with no classes to go to and only 3 hours of practice a day if I'd be playing now. So.
Well, and that's interesting to me because I walked away from music to get into sports. Like, sports sort of fed my soul. You go the opposite way. You walk away from sports to get into music. Is there was there a moment for you that was an aha moment of this is what I want to do?
Well, I would say that I played in some pro-am like leagues, like summer leagues and stuff like that, and around and where I was going to school and around my hometown of Little Rock, and I played and I played against some people that like just euthanized my dreams of playing professional basketball at that level. So like Joe Johnson gave me the business one year at the Dunbar in Little Rock, and I knew that my hoop dreams were gonna probably stop after college. So I knew that there was going to be some kind of I guess I sort of implicitly knew. I wasn't thinking about these terms, but I thought there would be a void left when I graduated, and music just filled that time up and took over all my attention.
Now,
sure.
Come on. When you play against guys that are NBA level talent, do you have to tell the story about how they dominated you, or do you get to just say, "Hey, I scored. Like I scored on somebody"?
Yeah, I was out there. I was a speed bump for Williamson and Joe Johnson to No, I had some fun. I mean, I got mine, I guess, a little bit, but you see like the level. It's just a different thing from what I could do to what a perennial NBA All-Star was doing at the time. So
then what's it like when you're on the side of the stage? Because I think a lot of people don't realize when you're playing festivals or when you're especially starting the grind of it all, you stand side stage, you watch other acts performing. Is there a moment where you have that same sort of competitive juice when you're out playing shows?
Man, it's really a different thing because the scores kept different. The one thing that I love about sports is that at the end of the day, no matter how you felt, how you did, you can look and there's a number there that says, whether you won or lost, or if you're playing golf, you have a score at the end of the day. And, music and art is much more subjective. So it's not that direct sort of competition in that sort of way. So that's something that I miss, although there are a lot of things that are similar from music in terms of like being on a team and working towards a goal and putting the work in to get good at something, to try to get good at something and just to give you a chance to be successful. There's a lot of that translates, but the head-to-head competition is a little bit different. Yeah.
Well, and the grind and the sacrifice that it takes, the hours and what you give up to try and get to live your dream, for sure. Now, you had the chance to play the Opry back in April for the first time. Nerves in that situation versus nerves in sports for you?
It was, that's pretty analogous. Like, I had so much family and friends come into town for that Opry debut, and it was a really, really special day and time. And it was only, I guess the difference is it was only like 8 minutes long. You only play like two songs, but the nerves were definitely churning and lots of mixed emotions and things like that. So that was certainly like playing at a big game. That's what it felt like.
Yeah, you mentioned that you only get about 8 minutes. I don't think a lot of people realize when you play the Opry, it's it's throw and go. So they just basically push you out on stage. You don't get a sound check or any. They just push you out
Yep.
on stage, say plug in, go play the dang Opry. Is there sort of how long does it take before you get to really soak in what just happened in that moment?
Man, it really. So this last week I played it for the second time, and the experience was just completely different because I knew what to expect. I had, I was more a part of the show and less making my Opry debut, if that makes any sense. So I think really when it sank in was sometime we had a little after party at a little neighborhood place, and I had so many people that had come from Florida, Arkansas, Texas, just all over to come and be a part of that and share that experience with me. And that's when I saw all those folks that it really hit home.
Okay, so you in this process of growth as an artist, you still are obviously hugely into basketball in general. So much of our conversation on Golic and Wingo right now is around the draft. When you watch Zion, what do you see in Zion?
I see somebody who can dominate the game in a unique way. In these kind of situations, that player comps always help, but I sort of push against this like LeBron comp because he doesn't. That's not his kind of game. I think he'll be a transcendent talent. I think he's got tools to be one of a perennial all-star. But I see a guy who can step in day one and affect a game physically on the defensive end, and somebody who can make some plays, out of he can ball handle out of the pick and roll. He should be the greatest screener in the history of the game. I mean, and I mean that I'm not even hyperbolic. Like he's that big wide set of shoulders. He won't get pushed over. He can screen 1 through 5, and then they have to guard him as a pop guy too. And then, of course, rolling to the basket, he's going to be one of the most devastating finishers that we've had. So I definitely see him in that role. And I don't think he's going to be this sort of give the ball and get out of the way kind of thing that you might have seen with LeBron coming out. I think it's going to be much more of that Blake Griffin kind of thing, much more of that, Barkley, 2.0 kind of thing. So I think it's going to be great to watch. I think his game is it's just going to be unique.
We're talking to Matt Stell, Sony Arista recording artist. By the way, the Everywhere But On is the major label debut EP that is out right now. So from a basketball player's mindset, when you see somebody that's as physically different as Zion is because he's so big but still so quick, how do you defend somebody like that when you're just physically outmatched as many people are?
Well, I think you would probably take a page from the Spurs Heat playoff run. Those finals when the Spurs really won by going under every screen, and I think it's going to be limiting him in transition, limiting him as a role guy, forcing that jump shot to be what he tries to beat you with because. There's obviously questions with that his form is a little bit of a push and it's kind of flat. I don't know that. I think there's going to have to be a lot of shot mechanic work to get that to be a consistent knockdown shooter. So, I mean, yeah, you go under screens and you stay close to him and you try not to let him get a running start at anything so that he doesn't dunk on your entire city.
Well, Matt, we will try and pin you in the way they try and pin us in all the time. According to Caesar Sportsbooks, they basically say it's California or the field for the NBA title. If you had to pick a team in California or any team not in California, you taking the state or the field?
Man, I'm going to probably take the state. I'm going to take the state because that's assuming that indications are Kawhi is going to probably end up there. That would be the only caveat. That's really what I would be betting on. I know this huge AD trade, and AD and LeBron is going to be instant contender, but they've got less than a max guy left for cap room. They've got to build a full team out, and they've got their work cut out for them. Not saying they won't be amazing because those two guys are unbelievable, and if they stay healthy, they'll definitely be in contention. But I think if Kawhi is in LA, he's proven he is one of the best players that we have on both sides of the ball, a proven winner. And he's proven that he can stay healthy through this season. So, I would say California, and I would rank them Clippers, Lakers, Golden State in that order.
Oh, you're going Clippers top. All right, I like that. That's even if Kawhi doesn't get an extra piece, or does Kawhi have to have a second max player next to him?
They've got the room to do it. I mean, if they get Kawhi, it's going to be an all-in situation. So I think that's the domino that has to fall. If I'm betting on that, I'm betting on Kawhi ending up there, and I'm betting on him getting help. And I love that team. I mean, they were so much fun to watch this year. They were like the opposite of the Clippers for a lot of life. Man, you had somebody like Kawhi who's going to fit in great. I think they're going to be really hard to beat.
Check out the debut EP right now everywhere but on. Check him out on Spotify. Pray for you, by the way. Congratulations. Over 15 million plays on Spotify. That's incredible. Follow him on Twitter at Matt Stell Music. Matt, we appreciate you hanging out with us. Thanks, man.
Thanks for having me, man.
You guys good there? Everybody good? Where we are? Hey, Matt, that was awesome, dude.
Great, man. Thank you so much for having me this